Hello everybody. So today might be probably one of my favorite commander showcases I will probably ever do. That is a deck that is a group hug deck, but it's not in the general colors of like Bant, Selesnya, Simic, or Azorius in some cases. This uses the other two colors that I've left out in the entirety of this explanation. It plays a great group hug, great politics, group slug, and could even just be played as a not group hug deck at all as well. And that is the wonderful Kaervek the Merciless and his Rakdos group hug. So Kaervek the Merciless is a 7 mana creature, which takes a lot to get out, but he's got a lot of stuff to help him out in this game plan. Where whenever an opponent casts a spell, Kaervek the Merciless deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. The goal of this is to, like, any player casts a spell, be like, hey, where do you want that damage to go? It's going to go there. As long as it's not at me or any of my board, it will be that target. And there's a lot of other factors with this, such as the damage multipliers. We have Angrat's Marauders and Dictate of the Twin Gods, which doubles any damage dealt to a permanent or a player. And in the case of Angrat's Marauders, it's anything that I control. Obosh the Prey Piercer is any odd converted mana cost, permanent, or really any source, would deal damage to a permanent player, deals double that damage. Instead, as we can see, Kaervek is a 7 mana creature, meaning he is an odd converted mana cost creature, meaning all of his damage will be doubled. Then we also have Tor Waki the Younger. So if a source I control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent player, it deals that much damage plus 1. And whenever I cast an instant sorcery, Tor Waki the Younger will deal 2 damage to any target. That will mean that Kaervek, in all of his non-combat damage that he would be doing here, would be doing that much damage plus 1. This is just simple additions to the damage, making sure that my burn spells and my burn abilities are able to do a lot of work. Next up, we have Did I Say You Could Do That? This is essentially going to try to slow down people aggressing onto you. We have Brash Taunter with a combo into Echo Circlet, allowing it to block an additional creature. This is so that way you could block anyone that decides to attack you for what your opponents are doing to them. Then we also have Scytheclaw Raptor and Adrenaline Jockey, which just make a player take 4 damage if they cast a spell during any turn other than theirs. Adrenaline Jockey's second ability about exhaust abilities does not matter because we have no exhaust abilities in the deck. Next up, we have Draw Some Cards. This is going to be making people draw cards, punishing them for drawing cards, as well as other other factors that allow us to draw cards and do other things with it, such as Decree of Pain, which destroys all creatures and draws a card for each creature destroyed. Then we also have something like Indulgent Tormentor, which will make me draw extra cards at the cost of an opponent either sacrificing a creature or paying life. Here's another political piece here, Zenith Chronicler, which makes everyone's opponent draw a card anytime you cast the first multicolored spell. There's a lot of multicolored spells in this deck, so you're going to be assisting your opponents on occasion, but anyone who's running multicolored decks are also going to be doing the same thing, and that's just kind of the goal of it. Garroper Orrery is going to be able to play and make people play more lands every turn, as well as draw 3 cards when they have no cards in hand. We also have other things like Sign in Blood, Painful Lesson, Blood Pact, which makes a target player draw typically 2 cards and lose 2 life. There are also other things, such as Spiteful Visions, Stormfist Crusader, that are going to make people draw more cards and lose life based off of the cards that they do draw. Then there's also things like Phyrexian Arena to, again, assist myself in drawing more cards. So that is kind of the big like group hug part of it, is that like, yeah, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, but I'm also helping you draw a lot of cards. Here we have the extra stuff, which is going to be essentially giving creatures like double strike and other impacts. Gonti allowing opponents to steal each other's cards when they attack each other. Mana Flare, adding extra mana whenever people tap for land. Marching Duodrone, allowing people to get extra treasures. Life gain off of me and anyone else getting artifact spells. There is also Diabolic Tutor, which will, it allows me to search for a card and put it into my hand. Drooling Ogre is going to be anyone who casts artifact spell gains control of Drooling Ogre. This is allowing, kind of forcing creatures onto other people and kind of encouraging them to attack. Let's speed this up or slow this down. This is going to be the goal of either speeding up, exactly what it is, making the game go faster or slowing it down. Exsanguinate is looking to be a kill shot to kind of just speed it up straight to the end, making everyone lose a ton of life of whoever's left, and making me gain a bunch more. Carter Doomscourge is going to essentially goad all of my opponent's creatures. And whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent will lose a life, and I will gain a life. Disrupt Decorum will goad all creatures that I don't control, and Heartless Hidetsugu will potentially kill everybody instantaneously, as Heartless Hidetsugu has an odd converted mana cost, meaning he'll be doubled from 3 different items, plus you'll be able to get +1 off of the other one. I forgot the names of it, but the ones at the top. Torwaki, you'd get the +1 off of, and then Dictate of the Twin Gods, Obosh, and Angrath's Marauders. He could potentially kill literally everybody in one go. And actually, if there's a damage doubler on the field, he will kill everybody in one go. Here is Partners in Crime. These are going to be our cards that are going to help us with our strategy of giving damage to other people based off of what our opponents cast. That being Lord of Pain is the main one. This is like the secondary commander of the deck, where opponents can't gain life, and whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, another target player can deal damage. The Lord of Pain will deal damage to that chosen player equal to the mana value of the spell cast. Then Magmatic Force is going to, I'll just pick like a player, be like, hey, player D, who do you want to take this 3 damage at my upkeep? And again, as long as it isn't me or my board, I don't care, it'll go through. And then, Judith makes people take damage when a non-token creature I control dies. So again, if I lose a creature to something, then Judith will deal damage to that as well. Same thing with Mayhem Devil. Whenever a player sacrifices it, it deals 1 damage to any target. That way, like Duodrone's treasure tokens, stuff like that, they're able to sack it, and then I'm like, okay, well, since you sacked your treasure, what do you want the damage to go to? Stuff like that. We have 39 sources of mana in the deck, which might not be enough in all honesty. I would recommend adding more, but also there's not a whole lot you could really take out. Like, you could probably take out some of this stuff, which is, when did I say that could be on the battlefield? This is pretty much going to be burn spells, removal spells, stuff like that, to be able to just be like, oh, well, I don't want that on the battlefield. Why do I want that on the battlefield? And remove it. And that is actually the entire deck. Honestly, I was surprised I went through it that quickly. I guess I could go through these a bit, because like there are some interesting ones, like Wild Magic Surge, which destroys a target permanent and opponent controls, and they reveal cards from the top of their library until they reveal a permanent that shares a card type with it and put it onto the battlefield. This is if someone has like an artifact or something they want to get rid of. I can destroy like a treasure, something like that, and they could potentially get something much better in return. Other than that, it's just your generic like murder, shock, abrade, lightning strike, lightning bolt, chaos warp, go for the throat, vandal blast. Spike field hazard is going to exile anything that dies to it, and then it also goes into a tapped land. If there is something that you could remove, I would definitely remove stuff out of this to add more lands. But especially since the fact that the mana curve is a little bit steep, in the fact that Kaervek and Angrat's Marauders are 7, Magmatic Force and Decree of Pain are both 8. At least with Decree of Pain, you could always cycle it for 5 mana and make everything have -2/-2 until end of turn. So there is other things that you could do with this. But I feel like with the mana value, with a curve of roughly like a 4, you should still be fine even with the somewhat lacking amount of lands in the deck. Or mana in the deck, I should say. I still feel like you could definitely get a lot of impact out of it. But that will be all for this episode of Commander Showcase. I really hope you guys like Kaervek the Merciless. I know I really enjoyed building this deck. I think this is probably one of my favorite decks I've built, just in general, because I like these unique deck strategies that not many people work with. And especially with the way that this deck is built, you could run it either way. You could either make yourself draw all the cards and stuff, and then just never like play Mana Flare or something like that. You could always like replace it with something else, like Mana Barbs. But that is all for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to leave comments down below if you want to see any other commander specifically and want me to build with it, something interesting. Or if you just have any general recommendations of like your favorite commanders, stuff like that that you want to see showcased here. Thank you all though so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.